this is Amy. Thanks so much for stopping back, or bye if this is the first time that you're here. Today I am going to show you how I transformed the poppy-inspired pattern over to a red wine glass. This is a 20-ounce red wine glass, and I think it really looks very pretty on the wine glass, as does it on the actual canvas that I painted. That was my last video. I will be using a number 2 low Cornell shader brush, basically a flat brush, a fine liner brush by Wistonia, and then a number 10 flat brush, and this is a plaid one-stroke brush. My paints that I will be using are Engine Red, Folk Art Enamel, Pure Orange, which is also Folk Art Enamel, Lipstick Red, Folk Art Enamel, Multi-Surface Wicker White by Folk Art, Thicket Folk Art Enamel, and Multi-Surface Citrus Green. The Citrus Green and the Thicket will be used for the leaves. I'm mixing a little mixture of the Pure Orange and Lipstick Red together to create another color for the petals of the flower, in addition to the red, or the Engine Red I should say. And I'm going to go ahead and mix those together. Now, if you're new to my channel and this is the first time you visited, please make sure you hit the subscribe button. That way you will have access to my videos whenever I post something new. Also, make sure you hit the bell, which will pop up there, and that will give you the notifications actually when I do post something new, so that you will be made aware of a new posting. If you like this video, once you've watched it, make sure that you give it a big thumbs up, and then please share it with your friends, so that that actually helps me grow my channel. I would definitely appreciate that. Alright, the first flower I'm going to start with is just the big, let me see what I did here, the big open, kind of open one. Now basically I'm just going to be using these strokes just to come, they're not actually meant to be even with each other. They're to be, staggered, just like what I did. Now I'm trying to make sure that the petals are more opaque. I'm not really into, now I mean if I'm intentionally doing it, that's fine, but I'm not really into the see-through transparency kind of look on painted glass. Again, if I'm using a certain kind of paint and that's what I get, then that's fine. But for my videos, most of what I will be doing is trying to make my designs look more opaque. And the reason for that is purely, well, I like the look of it, but I also do it for durability. Now you have to watch, I mean you can actually apply the paint too thickly, and then that will cause it to bubble if you're baking it. So you do have to be careful with that. But it does, the thicker your paint is, the more durability it has as far as when you're washing it and making the design last. So keep that in mind. Also, something I like to mention periodically is the fact that you do need to, when you're baking your glass, first of all, I highly recommend that you follow the manufacturer's instructions, because each bottle that you get, no matter what type of paint you're using, will come with directions on how to bake the paint, how to cure it. Because this type of product from Plaid actually does not have to be baked. So you can allow it to air dry and cure. Now the curing time for the paint to be fully set is 21 days. That doesn't mean you can't use the glass for before that time. because it'll be dry, but you don't want to put it in the dishwasher because this product is supposed to be dishwasher safe if it is put on the top rack. If you place a hand painted item on the bottom rack of your dishwasher, it will, I can guarantee you, some of the paint's going to come off, if not all of it. Especially if you have a more of a, what I want to say, commercial type dishwasher that gets really hot. You know, you don't want to do it regardless of what kind of dishwasher you have. I can tell you that right now, you don't want to do it. However, like I said, if you have a dishwasher that's really hot, you really don't want to do it because it will take your paint off. I have relatives that I've done a lot of painting for, and I think they might have a pretty hot dishwasher, and a lot of the designs I've painted over the years have not fared too well, just for the fact that I do think that some of it's not really, I don't know if their dishwasher, like I said, is too hot or what, but it's very, you know, when you put a lot of time into painting and then you see your work kind of, it's not there anymore, that's kind of hard. But it's all good. You know, honestly, if you want to get the designs to last longer, I would just highly recommend just hand washing. No harsh detergent, no harsh pads to scrub it with. You know, just treat it like fine china, and guess what? It'll last. So imagine that, it'll last. And I'm trying to vary these as far as, like, one's kind of straight, one's kind of curved that way, and then my next one is going to be going this direction. It just gives it some interest where they're not all straight around. But also when I'm painting these, I am, you know, putting on some of the engine red, then some of the mixture that I have of the orange, the pure orange, and the lipstick red together, and basically trying to kind of rotate them a little bit so that they're, you know, it's more opaque. Now when you're, if you put white with the color, you know, white will definitely make it more opaque looking, especially like if you're doing a one-stroke type of strokes, one-stroke strokes, yes. If you're doing that, white, the combination of white with your color will actually make it more opaque. Just FYI there. And like I said, that's kind of what I go for, is the more opaque look. I think it, like I said, I like it better. Plus I think it just gives it more of a durability factor. Now there are some paints, if you like the transparency type of look, then there are paints on the market that are actually really good for those and will be durable without having to do multiple strokes, like Peebo, which, like I said, hopefully I'm saying it correctly. It's kind of one of those words where you're like, I'm not really sure the correct pronunciation, but that's how I've heard it, so that's kind of what I'm sticking with. But these are just fun, you know, just make fun little glasses too. You know, maybe you want to have some friends over and have a glass painting party. These designs that I do, if you haven't viewed any of my other videos, my intent is for them to be easy, for it to be something that no matter what kind of a painter you are, anybody can do it, or just about anybody. You know, just to make something easy for beginners, basically. And if you'll notice, there's some paints that will be easier to make more opaque looking, or that they're actually more opaque, like your blacks. The red's definitely not. Red's definitely not. The greens, like when I do my my flower or my leaves, those are definitely more opaque. Easier to achieve that kind of look with. And like so, I'm just, you know, doing just very easy strokes. Alright, so I have that part done. The next part is I'm going to add my leaves. Now, before you move on, if you're someone who needs to have, you don't like pulling any of the other colors in or out of your design, that's actually, you know, that you're actually painting over the top of. Like say if I hit some of the red while I'm painting my leaves. Yeah, right now because it's wet, some of the colors will actually, will come off, you know, into the mix. Not come off necessarily, but come into the mix as far as that goes. And that's fine. If you're not okay with that kind of a look though, make sure that you maybe either give it some drying time, like say maybe an hour or so, or you hit it with a hair dryer or a heat gun, you know, just to give it some drying time. Now I'm just putting like little, the beginning of the stems here. You're not going to see a lot of stem in this whole process, but I'm going to put this on here before I paint my leaves. And then once I paint my leaves, then I can go ahead and put just a little stem in, like it's going to the leaf that's around it. You know, you don't have to, you could just leave it totally out, but I thought last night I did not do this first, and then I thought, you know, once I put the leaves in, probably really should put some stems, you know, just like it's going through, you know, to a leaf or whatnot. So I'm going to do that right now, do this part right now. I need to clean this out here in a second. I'm going to go ahead, double load my brush with the citrus green and the Thicket, and this is what it kind of, this is how mine look. Now some people are more majestic with it as far as doing how many strokes they do to mix it in. I do maybe a couple little quick strokes and then I'm done. So anyways, let's get started here. Now when I'm doing these leaves, I can move this back just a smidge. Like I'm not getting it all on here. Maybe I'll do this. I'm sorry. I just want to feel like I'm not getting it all on here. Give it a moment to settle. Sorry about that. Anyways, you can, like this one, I'm actually doing the dark green on both outer parts of the leaf. Okay. Now this one's going to have a lot of green in the center. Then I'm going to come down here. Now I could on this one just make it like it's coming down from this part, even though technically that's probably not really right where it would be coming from. But I'm going to go ahead and do it down here. Alright, and then I'm going to come over here, just turn it. Now the reason I'm talking about this is that I like to, even though it might be the same stroke that I'm doing, I like to vary the outer colors so they're not all the same. And if you see what I mean here, I'm just doing, pulling it down. Just gives it more interest. Now, if you don't like that kind of look, that's fine. Now here's where I'm going to probably hit this red flower a little bit. Now for some reason it didn't come into it, so that's fine. Oops, now I switched it wrong way. Wrong way. But you can just keep going over it until you get the look that you want to achieve. I mean, I wouldn't overwork it too much, but you can. And I'm trying not to have a lot of open space as far as I'm trying to make it opaque looking. So that's why I'm being careful. And you just got to remember which way you want to have your leaf color be and do it that way. Alright, so this one I'm just going, well, I might do the lighter. Come through here. Okay, now I'm just going to keep doing this, just turning the glass and doing it as I go. This one I'm going to lead with the outside being the darker green. Like that. Now for this one I'm going to have basically one side is going to be dark and one side is going to be light. Now hold on for a second here. For some reason last night this seemed to flow a lot better. Alright, so then this one I'm just going to go whoop, right through it. Gives it some interest there because it's not the same color. I mean, the colors are same, but the colors are not on the leaf the same way. And then this one I might go ahead and just do both sides in the dark or the lighter green on the outside. And then just have my stem coming from whatever the closest one is here, coming down through it. Alright, here we go again. Like I said, and no two of my painted glass are going to be the same. Now there are some patterns that I've done in the past that have been very similar, and I've done a lot of them that way. So, you know, I've really got really good at making them look pretty similar. But definitely if you're doing painted glassware, stress that. It's not going to be identical. It's not done by a machine. They're hand painted, and that's why they are the way they are. Because, you know, people in today's world, especially with all the quick gratification that we have, people just don't get it when you're doing a hand made item, hand painted, whatever the situation is in today's world. They just don't, a lot of times people don't understand that, you know, it's just not going to be, hold on here, going to be done very, you know, quickly. I mean, you're doing as quickly as you can, I don't mean that, but you want people to understand that it's not mass produced, it's not done by machine, it's done by a human being. And that's why, you know, you take care with what you're creating. So like I said, just so that you don't have any misunderstandings, make sure people understand that, you know, you have a note. No two will be the same. They're, you know, painted by hand, but they will be similar. Okay, I might do, I'm trying to think here, put in a few more. I think right now what I'm going to do is just do my go-to with just like kind of a basic one stroke. You know, you might put your there and then turn it, and then do your little lines that go through. Those are kind of, for me, are my fillers. They're my filler leaves. I mean, obviously you could use something else for filler leaves, but that's what I like to use. So I'm just going to make it like it's coming up this way. I mean, you can have fun with the leaves. I like a lot of leaves, as if you've watched any of my videos, you know, because I'll talk about that a lot. If you're new, you know, I do like a lot of leaves on my paintings, so if you're not big into that, then just minimize it and do, you know, as few as you want. You know, it's your painting, make it yours. And I cannot stress that enough when I'm doing painting, is we don't all have to do it the same way. Doesn't mean it's wrong or right. Just do it the way that you're comfortable with, and if you're happy with it, that's what matters. Pure and simple. Let me put maybe another one here. And you just kind of have to take a step back and look, you know, what seems like it needs to be filled in. If you know, want to add something else, more flowers, more leaves, more maybe a viney kind of thing or something, or sometimes people do like the little twirly, I forget what they're called, with a liner brush, just to make it look a little bit more whimsical. You can do that. You can do single petals, you can do multiples. You can overlap them, keep them separate. It's just really based on how you like it. That's like, so when I'm doing a design of some sort, please know that you don't have to do it identical or feel like you have to do it. I just try to stress enough, you know, make it yours. Make it what you feel comfortable with, what you're happy with, and if you're happy with it, then it's awesome. Now, if you're not happy with it, then either you're being too hard on yourself, or, you know, one thing nice about painting on glass is that if you aren't happy with it, guess what? It washes off. And that's something awesome about it. Alright, so here I'm going to go and just kind of add my little, like I'm doing my little, I don't know why I did that. A couple of them look like I just went ahead and put my little vine in there, stem in there. This one's going to be hard to do because it's right up there. Well, it's funny. I did a lot of them look that way. I just do it over that leaf. That's fine. Okay, so my next part that I'm going to do is very simple. I'm going to take my number 2, I call it a flat brush, shader, whatever you want to call it. Just single color, load it on here, and then I'm just going to start in here and just start tapping it in. Now, you could add 2 colors, you know, if you wanted to make it stand out a little bit more. But I'm going to do something else in addition to this, so I'm just going to keep it like it is. Now, one problem I found with doing it like this is that I kind of had to make sure that I actually got the whole uncovered part filled in. It was a little hard to tell, so I kind of had to hold the glass up and kind of stare at it to make sure that I got all the openings filled. It's just really easy, just basic tap, 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 and you're in. Now another color, and I thought about this after I did these. I don't know what I was thinking, but you could actually use a contrast color of yellow on the leaves, or the petals, excuse me, the petals of the flower. And, you know, that would be a nice contrast. Now see, this little part here is kind of wet still, so it's not wanting to cooperate, which is fine. Alright, so I'm going to turn it and just keep doing it. I'm just basically just taking this brush and just tapping it. I'm just kind of going up into the red a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I do like to try to make sure that I'm getting all the unpainted parts painted. There you go with that. Now, if you're happy with that, you look at it and you stand back and you check to make sure all the empty spaces are filled in. Right here, probably not so much. Just got to kind of twist it and see. Make sure it's covered. Alright. If you're happy with that, leave it at that. I like to add a little bit more detail. I take the fine liner, which I love this brush, and I'm just going to pull and come out. Now, you could obviously, something like this for a real flower, it would be all the way around. I'm kind of making these like you're only seeing part of the center. There would be more to it, so I'm not going to tap it all the way around, but you could if you wanted to. I'm just doing it like this is all you can see. And you can move your glass around. That's one thing nice about painting on something that's mobile. And when you paint on a wall or something to that effect, you don't have the option of turning it. Alright, we're almost finished. Like I said, even with something like this, you don't have to do it a whole lot. You can make them long, short, you know, whatever hits your fancy. Get into the black a little bit, doesn't matter. I'm just trying to stay on camera here. I kind of like to make them seem like they're going kind of in different directions. Alright, so there we have it. I hope you like it. Again, if you do, give me a big thumbs up. Please make sure that you share this on your social media, share it with your friends. I surely would appreciate it. Give me a big thumbs up. Make sure, if you haven't already done it, that you subscribe to my channel and hit that bell for notifications whenever I post something new. Alright, so I do appreciate you stopping by, and until the next video, you have a good one. See you then.